All right, people, we are back. We're back, and we're actually on time for once. How about that? Um, hope everyone's happy, healthy, doing well, successful, winning in life. Always, let's get that in first, of course, every time. But yeah, let's see what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about there's peace in the Middle East now. Hmm. And I've been getting a lot of messages and seeing a lot of my friends and family um, actually giving credit to this administration for getting this done because we haven't seen this in a this has been a long time coming. But I don't know, man. I'm still let's see when the dust settles, let's see what fully happens. But this is good. This is what we wanted. This is what we wanted. And as much as you want to shit on the this current administration for it, you, you got to give them credit for this. All right. But in my opinion, we still shouldn't be involved in all these. It's like we'll get into it later. There's the U.S. that's why Team America, the the movie Team America World Police, the Matt Stone and Trey Parker movie, the South Park creators, you guys know. They that movie it's still funny to this day. It's and it's still true. That movie came out 20 years ago and it's still true today. Like why are we bailing out Argentina's government? We're involved in the Ukraine. We're involved in the Gaza, Israel, Palestine. It's still true today. It's hilarious how those guys know exactly what's going on. And if you haven't seen this season in South Park, it's hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. All right, but let's move on to so the Premier League is coming back. The international break I didn't really pay attention to because there's too many useless friendlies now. I don't know how to fix this actually. I think there should be less international breaks, but you still need to have qualifications. And you can't completely get rid of friendlies because you need the managers and the coaching staff and the federations to assess like the team dynamic and the players and the personnel. Cuz some people are saying just get rid of friendlies. I don't think you can do that. They try to do that with the Nations League to make it more competitive, which I like. Um, but you need training matches. Now, what I will say is you don't need to play teams that are trying to you shouldn't be playing friendlies against teams trying to qualify for the World Cup. So if you're the US Soccer Federation and um you're playing Australia, which was the last game, which we won, which is miraculously because how the hell at halftime we were losing to Australia, and no disrespect to the Aussies, but with all the hype that the US gets, how are we losing to Australia at halftime in America at home? So, if, but that friend for me, my point is that friendly is okay because Australia is already in the World Cup. They already qualified. Cool, we're good. But you shouldn't be playing friendlies against teams that are still trying to qualify. That doesn't make sense at all. No sense. So eliminate those games. You just need to reduce the amount of international games and international breaks. Um, and I think that's the best way to do it. And so I saw someone on in the corporate media saying that the top team should automatically qualify. Also disagree with that. It, so for example, the World Cup, they, s- they this panel's argument was because all three of them agreed. I forgot where it was. I think it was on. It wasn't on Paramount Plus, CBS Sports. Yeah, I think it was there. And they they said I could be wrong on that, but I believe that's correct. They said that when the World Cup is starting, you know how the host nations immediately qualify. They said teams like Argentina, Brazil, Germany, France, England, Nigeria, Ghana, Australia, because they always win the Oceania one. They should, um, they should automatically make the World Cup. They shouldn't need to qualify. Nah, I don't agree with that at all. You got to play the game. You got to earn it. You shouldn't be given a World Cup spot. You need to earn it. And shout out Suriname for making their first World Cup. They qualified. It's a small Caribbean nation made their first World Cup. So big up to them. First World Cup ever in the history of the sport. They did well. That's cool. This is what I'm talking about. Shit like this won't happen if you just immediately give them. It's the money making nations. They want them this for the pound note. It's bullshit. All right, so tomorrow we have. So that's the international break is over now. We're back to club football. The Middlesbrough Ipswich game in the championship, the English championship, was good today. That was a good game. I actually saw it. That's quality football right there. Very entertaining. All right, so we have the Cronky. Don't get me started on the Cronkies. Let's not go there. So tomorrow we have it's a full slate because club football is back. Everyone is back from international break. We got proper Chelsea and Forest. I think Forest is they're in trouble, man. They're in big trouble. Who foresaw that? They finished like 7th last year. Yeah, and they're 17th. Ooh, against proper Chelsea. They should win that game. And then the next there's actually 5 10 o'clock games, which I like. And then it's Arsenal Fulham at 12:30. That's my game. On for anyone that's in America, it's on NBC. Then we have that's a good game too. Serie A, Inter and Roma. That's a good game. Yeah, there's a lot of good games I'm looking at here. PSG. No, I think PSG played today. Strasbourg, Blueco, the Clowns. They almost won. PSG equalized late. Strasbourg is only 1 point behind MSG. We're gonna get into MSG actually right now. They're only 1 point behind PSG. And the Dodgers won. The Dodgers are in the World Series. So there we got Blueco, we got Strasbourg in second place. We got proper Chelsea playing for us tomorrow, and then we have the Dodgers in the World Series. The more success this company has, the worse it's going to be for sports. I can't stand it. I can't stand them. We all know who they are. Um, we talk about them all the time. Same thing with the Cronkies. The the Cronkies are facing the Cronky Sports and Entertainment is facing all of Tony Khan's teams this weekend. Fulham is playing Arsenal. Jacksonville is playing the Rams. There's probably a hockey game. There's probably an MLS game too. Yeah, I can't stand this shit. Private equity is just taking over sports, and they're doing it on purpose because this is the next phase in the like financial takeover, which is I'm gonna sound like a conspiracy theorist now, but look at the facts. The last bastion of meritocracy is sports, where if you're no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, what your background is, what your upbringing was, what your ethnicity is, what your income level is, what what political um, affiliation you have, etc. Your own identity, no matter what your identity is. If we're talking about soccer, if you can score goals, no one is going to care. All right, true meritocracy. It doesn't matter where you're from. And I believe all these financial institutions and hedge funds are going to they're trying to take over sports to not make it a meritocracy and just make it like nepotism, and they're only going to sign players. The Cronkies are already doing this. I'll call them out right now. They're already doing it. They'll acquire players and draft players just because they have a certain look. They appeal to a certain demographic. They're models. That's what they're doing. It's basically like putting a mannequin on the fucking in the window. That's what they're doing. It's already starting. And it needs to be stopped. Because if these firms take over South American, Mexican, Caribbean, and European and African football, it's over. It's done. And they only need a couple of more teams before they have the voting rights to change all the rules. Then you're going to see the Champions League already announced that there's going to be a kickoff game like the NFL has, where it's the best team in the I think it's the Europa League champion and the which automatically qualifies you for the Champions League, and the Champions League winner. It's a standalone event, which has never been done in European soccer. It's already happening. Soon I've said this thousands of times. Soon you're going to see t-shirt guns, cheerleaders, halftime concerts, um like these like what's the word? These like gimmicky contests at halftime, like who can kick the ball the farthest and shit like that. Like, oh, try to score a goal from the halfway line. You're gonna get commercial breaks. It's not gonna be a water break anymore. It's gonna be a commercial break. It's gonna happen, and there's still time to stop it. I'm pleading with you to try to stop this shit. And then now let's go to MSG, the Rangers. Quick hit on the Rangers. I don't pay attention anymore, as you know, because I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of this corporation and this owner taking the piss out of everyone. The Rangers haven't scored a single goal in 3 games at Madison Square Garden to start the season. 3 losses, Not a single goal has been scored. Imagine being a Rangers season ticket holder, paying $50,000 for your seats. You go to the first 3 games, $50,000 for the whole season. Let's have it right. Go to the fucking game. You've been to 3 games already, and you haven't even seen a single goal, and you've lost all 3. That's the state of this franchise under this fucking ownership. And the Knicks are going to be the same. We will never win with MSG Sports Corporation and James Dolan. We haven't won since 1997 when they both took over, the board and him. 1997. But yet, the Rangers are still the second most valuable franchise on the Forbes list. The Knicks are like third most valuable pro basketball franchise on planet Earth. Haven't won anything in 53 years. You realize that, right? How many times do I have to tell you how ridiculous that is? And then the fans don't help because they buy into the propaganda. We're celebrating a first round win, like just not a series win. We win 1 game in the first round, and they're rioting on 7th Avenue. It's game 1. What the hell is going on? How about we lift the trophy before we start and then I'll be with you. I'll go out there and I'll party. I'll go to every fucking parade and I'll party for the whole summer. But to win 1 game in the first round and to start destroying 7th Avenue. Come on, man. That's it. This is what they capitalize on. They exploit it. So the fans are part of. I sound like a broken record. I always repeat the same shit over and over again. It's the same thing every year. You need to stop going to the games. Stop giving them money and watch how much it'll change. That's the only way. All right, so let's go to real time. Bill Maher is back after a break, 2-week break. Arnold Schwarzenegger was on, which was cool. I think that's the first time he was ever on real time. Because he's promoting a new book that he has, but he's still he knows politics a little bit because he's the governor of California. So they talked about that for a little bit. Arnie made some good points. Arnie made some good points about California. And then the panel was, what's his name? Andrew Ross Sorkin. That guy's cool. And Mark Cuban. So it was like an all-star panel. And yeah, and they talked about the Gaza peace treaty, which is what I touched on in the beginning. Talked about that for a while, and then Bill had a hilarious mid show comedy when he does the mid segment about Catholicism. That shit was hilarious. As a recovering Catholic, that shit was hilarious. One of the jokes was, it was a picture of a priest giving the Eucharist to what looked like a 10-year-old boy, and he said, what was the tagline? And it was like a caption, and he said, he said, when I wonder what this guy did next. God, that's good. That's good. Listen, I grew up in that environment, and I've known people that it's not me personally, but I've known people that what the joke is has happened to is bad. It's bad. But that was funny. It's funny. It's still funny though. You could still laugh at it. It's just a joke. But that is I know what he was trying to say there. Uh, that segment. What was the premise of it? Why can't I remember? It's just- Um, it was yeah. He was talking about it. It was just about like confessions from Catholics, basically. That was a good segment. That was a good middle segment, and then the um the editorial was about uh how the corporate media doesn't properly represent what people say and like genuinely analyze both sides of the debate. It's all narrative driven. And I mean, we don't have to talk about that. That's I mean, everyone knows that. They take people out of context and in order to and they'll clip you up, which happens even in sports debates, even in sports, whatever field, right? Whatever, whoever is in the public sphere, they'll clip you up to make you look either really good if you're on their team or make you look really bad if you're on the opposition team. So, and that's what the editorial was about, how the New York Post completely twisted Bill Maher's editorial from like a month ago and or three before he went on break, so 3 weeks ago, how he what he said about certain things. And they won't they'll just they'll just blatantly lie. The New York Post is blatantly lying. It's ridiculous. And it's not just the Post. It's all the what do they call it? The legacy media. I call it the corporate owned media. MSNBC, fucking Fox News, all of them. NBC Universal. That's MSNBC. Um, so they both sides are guilty of this, and it's just not productive for society. It's not good for um, informing the public about what's happening. It's all let's bury the other team. I've talked about this before in this channel. It's like we need to win. We need to humiliate the other side, and we need to bury them and insult them. That's the mentality that these production companies have going in. We need to bury that other side, and it's the same thing with the pundits too. And it's the same thing in sports. This 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 my team versus your team mentality has seeped into sports as well, where it's like my player is better than your player is shit. Why can't you admit that a player on a rival team is a good player? Oh no, you can't. He's dog shit. It's like this is what it is. It's complete division, complete polarization, and that's part. This is what I'm saying. That ties back into my earlier point. These um the Shadow, the Fab Five. I'm going to keep mentioning them. The Fab Five want people divided because it it generates clicks, it generates views, it generates engagement, but it also generates hate and evil and division. But they don't care because they're making money off of it. They want people arguing on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. That's what they want. That's the goal. Because people who are and Bill even said it in the editorial. He was like, "You know what you do to counter that? Instead of feeding into the algorithm, fuck with the algorithm." I like that. That was funny. Click on something that you don't like. If he had a couple of jokes, it's like, if you're conservative, go to um click on the latest like highlights from RuPaul's Drag Race or something like that. Yeah, that was funny. Uh, but amongst other jokes he had, n- that's actually not a bad idea if you look at it in a macro way. Start clicking on things that you like destroy the echo chamber that's that's surrounding you, because the digital world is trying to like basically imprison you into your own echo chamber so that you only see things that you believe, and you hate everything that is not on your feed. Start clicking on things that you have no interest in. Tell the algorithm to go fuck itself. You'd be like, you know what? You're not gonna control me. I'm gonna control you. I'm gonna start clicking on shit that you don't even know what to do with. Which is all. I think that's awesome. That's hilarious. That's not a bad idea. So I would actually take that advice. Start listening to podcasts. Start watching videos. Start clicking on posts that you that you wouldn't normally, because it doesn't align with what you believe in. And watch how it scrambles the algorithm. And then they'll have no they have no idea what to feed you. They won't be just constantly mind controlling you and manipulating you. It's not a bad idea. Not at all. All right, so then the last thing, let's talk about Smackdown. We're coming out of Crown Jewel. Their WWE is still abroad. They were still in Australia. They went to Melbourne, Australia. And then they went to Japan. But SmackDown was in, where was it? It was in San Jose. So they're still, which is a quicker plane ride than if they came back to the East Coast. Um the Cody's doing some heel tactics now. Cody Rhodes is doing some heel tactics. He disqualified himself in the match today by using the belt as a weapon, which he's never done before. I think that's the first time he's done that since he's been champion. So you can see it slowly starting to turn. There's a couple big injuries. Seth Rollins is going to be out until like March or April. So is Jacob Fatu. Um, two major losses because those two like title contenders are out until probably like the middle of next year, probably till like WrestleMania. And what else? There's nothing really of note. There was a good tag match. Los Garza, very underrated. They've been in AAA for a while. AAA is the Mexican league. Um, Against the Motor City Machine Guns. That was a good match. Corey Graves is back. He just had a child. Um, and Vic Joseph, shout out Vic Joseph, the NXT announcer, getting a shot um, at at announcing a main roster show. Love it. Vic Joseph is awesome, and him and Graves together, that was good. He almost got Graves in trouble. Blake Monroe, uh, Blake Monroe was like kind of winking at him, but Corey Graves just had a second child. That's why he was gone for like a month. He has a newborn infant with his wife. So congratulations, Corey Graves. Um, and what happened in that match? That match, oh, it was Soul. That was Soul and Zarya Zaruka. So they're definitely gonna get called up with all the injuries happening. I think Soul and Zarya will get called up to SmackDown, and they were fighting Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, the champions for the tag titles, and Blake Monroe distracted them, and they lost. But Zarya and Soul botched a couple of spots. Let's have it right. Like you can tell that I don't know. I think Soul Ruka is a future Hall of Famer. I really do. I really do. I genuinely do. And Zarya is very underrated. But I don't know if they're ready. I don't know if they're ready for full time main roster work. They should stay in NXT, in my opinion. That's just me. So for anyone who doesn't know, NXT is basically, I think I've explained this before. NXT is basically like being, if you're a basketball player or you're an American football player, it's like being in college. You have to go to NXT to get, then you get called up to WWE. NXT is like the second tier, but it's not really second tier because it's still extremely popular and the product and the quality is outstanding. There's weeks when NXT is better than Raw or SmackDown. I'll straight up. There's very high quality wrestling and the backstage segments too. Just a phenomenal entertainment. I don't think Soul and Zarya are ready for full time like main roster. Not yet. There was a lot of botches in that match. And even the Soul Snatcher that she didn't look that cool. That was a little rough as well. Um but otherwise, yeah, the result, Alexa. Yeah, Alexa is so underrated. She's awesome. I want her to go back to having the supernatural take. And then you have Aleister Black. He's feuding with Priest right now. I like him. The Miz, the Miz and Mello are feuding. And then Dragunov, the last thing I'll say, Ilya Dragunov is back after like 14 months out with a bad knee injury. And he won the fucking US title in his first match back. So he's good. He's good. He looked a little rusty, but he, I can't believe he won. I can't believe this is the arc. His first match back since legitimately like spring 2024. And he won the US title off of Sami Zayn, who's also a great superstar as well. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. I'm sure Sammy will get a rematch at some point. He'll probably take the belt back. But I think that's how they wanted to reintroduce Dragunov back. Dragunov is good, really good. But he's wearing the knee brace. He was still a little rusty. So I was shocked. That was actually legit surprising to see him win. But anyway, all right, that's it. We'll wrap up here. I wish there was more to talk about. There's going to be way more to talk about next week because the Premier League is back and club football all around the world is back. But hope everyone's Glad glad we got the peace treaty. Hope everyone's happy, healthy, successful, doing well, winning in life. We'll see you next Friday. Salute.